now my OBS is freezing up. There we go. Welcome back to 7 Days to Die. This is gonna be episode 5, I think. I have 2 friends with me this time. Say hello, friends.
What did it do?
Close
Wait a
enough.
minute.
Close enough.
Wait a minute. That's fucking. That's Matt's shit from fucking.
Yeah. It seems like my other friend doesn't want to say hi, so we'll just pretend he doesn't exist.
That's what Matt says in what is it called? The Misfits podcast.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm still waiting for Grando here to say hi to my people.
I just did.
No, you didn't.
It was very low. We could barely hear you. Like I was saying though, my favorite Russian Badger meme to this day is just Patterson, fire warning shot. Sir, I have a rotary and 2 grenade launcher. Potato, Patterson, fire the warning shot.
That's more than a warning.
I think that was I think that was one of his
Oh, hey, Ranger's Guide to Archery. I'll take that.
yeah,
It was in my own mailbox as well.
Yeah, I think it was one of the fucking.
Did I ever get?
What is that game called?
Oh, I
The
actually
one
have
with the
one skill
fucking
point.
Dead Zone.
The one with the dead zone. You mean Subnautica?
No. No. You're like Division. It was Division.
Oh, that one.
It was the Division 2, I think. Yeah, it was the Division 2.
Hmm.
Yeah, the Flamin launcher. That's the one. The Flamin launcher. That's literally the name of the episode or the video. The Flamin launcher. It's where he just fucking uses a grenade launcher on just a bunch of heavy fucking armored guys. And he just non-stop talks about the M2 rotary grenade launcher.
Should I make a fire axe and iron? Oh, I can actually make an iron sledge now. Ooh.
Or is it?
Ooh, I can make
or
an
is it
iron
the
pick and a
chunky
shovel as well.
meat?
Should I make an iron sledge? I mean, it would help.
Oh my god, dude! I forgot how much of an NPC the fucking Division enemies are. Here, I'm reloading. Thanks for letting me know. Moving cover.
Wait, hang on. Shut up
Shit,
a moment.
a
Shut up a
grenade.
moment. Shut up a moment. Oh, never mind. Found what the fuck was making all the noise.
Fuck the Division.
Wait, hang on. There's something else out here. Oh crap! Oh god, it's 8. Oh god, it's like literally 2 wolves.
There's 2 more.
Oh.
You survived. Good job.
Oh.
How did you get an infection? You got an infection by them.
No, wait for a second.
Also, I honestly stopped playing Halo since like Reach.
Yeah, Reach was kind of like the pinnacle of Halo, and then it kind of just died. Sorry, my very little viewers, very little viewer count. That is probably going to disappear with that statement. But yeah, Reach was kind of like the best and worst they could do, and then it just kind of killed the rest of them all. Because they basically
best that they did.
Yeah, but it basically completed the Halo story in Reach, and then the rest were just prolonging the story.
No, they didn't complete the story.
They didn't complete the story with it, but after Reach, you could kind of guess where it was going to end up going.
No.
Yeah, because in Reach, they started beating back the Covenant. They started winning all of the battles in Covenant.
No, the whole point of Reach was that they couldn't save the planet, so they had to actually glass it.
Halo never glassed the planet.
Yeah, because the very last mission, the objective is survive, right? you're meant to die. And then there's like, yes, Noble Six was very noble and very brave. He gave his life for this country. And
Oh,
then it just shows the fucking planet being glassed by like 3 fucking Mac cannons.
wait. Mac cannons didn't have the glassing capability.
Or whatever. I don't
It
remember.
was the Covenant that glassed the planet.
Yeah, okay.
And it
I think
wasn't
it was
even a
Covenant
planet
then.
that they were trying to save either. It was a different planet. They ended up kind of saving the planet a little bit without saving the planet. They kind of did without actually doing it because the Covenant are stupid. They were able to kind of because the Covenant had actually never really been to the planet that they were trying to save. Well, yes, they were at the planet. Yes, I know that. But they weren't really exactly like 100% there, if you get my meaning. Because remember, most of the enemies that you fought were like, kind of like, I guess, I'm not going to say like sub Covenant, but like they weren't exactly within like the highest ends of the Covenant army. Like most of the people that you were fighting in that game, from what I understand, were more so just unlucky idiots that ended up getting
No,
into
it was a full scale invasion of Reach.
Yeah, it was, but it wasn't like necessarily the right planet that you were on because they were planning to attack Earth, but the humans, having had
I don't
colonized,
think that
no,
was. I don't think
the
that's right.
story of Reach was that the Covenant was on their way to Earth, but they didn't know where Earth was. But they saw this big mass of human settlements and whatnot on Reach, basically. They're like, you know what, that must be Earth. Let's glass it. And then they fucked it up. That's essentially that's what a few got. That's what most of Reach was kind of. I'm not gonna say that's 100% what it was about, but whenever you look into like the whole story of it, you actually start to realize that they actually really never meant to attack Reach. They were meaning to attack Earth, but they didn't know where Earth was. They even say it, and like they even say whenever they finally discover Earth, finally we have found Earth, meaning they never knew where it was to begin with, which is something that I always found interesting about the Covenant, was that the Covenant, being these high and mighty assholes, didn't even know where the humans lived. They never knew exactly where the humans lived. Granted, yes, they did know where we were a lot of the time, but they never actually found Earth until like the last 2 games. Like they didn't properly know it was Earth that they were attacking, until like the actual like final like one where you kind of like lose Cortana and all that. They didn't know where Earth was until Cortana. Cortana actually,
Fortunately, was replaced.
yeah, but whenever Cortana uploaded herself into the Covenant mainframe or whatever, she gave them the location of Earth by accident, and that's where she programmed that thing to go. They weren't planning to go all the way to Earth with that weird device thing that they had. They were planning to go to I can't remember where, but but Earth
I
was
don't
not their
know,
original.
David. I
Their
don't think
Earth
that's right.
Earth wasn't their original destination, nor was it their original attacking point for the entire game, for the entirety of like this Halo series, and then at the like the last 2 games, they finally figured out where the fuck Earth was. They I they do say that they didn't know where Earth was. They do say it sometimes in like the first like 2 Halo games. They say it. They say that they don't know where Earth is, so we're still hunting down the humans. And
If I remember, the whole point of the original trilogy and basically the entire story is the Halo rings.
yeah, the Halo rings
Everyone
are
knew
what.
that the Halo rings were powerful. They just didn't know how to activate them and what they did. And then
Yeah,
once,
when but the Covenant were going to use them to one destroy the entire universe. but they were
No, they
also
weren't. They didn't know. They were
no,
trying to
they
protect. No, no,
no.
no, no. I know. I
Let
know
me,
the lore. I know this. Okay. They were trying to protect the Halo rings from anyone else because they thought of them
well,
as sacred sites. So they didn't
e-
want any.
the leaders of the Covenant even said, "Oh, we know what it does, but that is the path to enlightenment." They wanted to kill the entire universe to
Oh yeah,
enlighten
that's
it.
right.
That they knew exactly. The people that worked for the Covenant didn't know what it
They
was.
didn't. Yeah, they didn't. But the thing is, they didn't know
The
how to activate it.
well, no, the I think the guy who lasts the longest. Which one was that one? Truth or something? I think it was like the Covenant leader Truth that lasts the longest. He knew exactly what it was going to do, and he knew exactly how to work it. It's why he almost. It's why he managed to almost activate the damn thing. He knew exactly what he was doing. He just didn't let it. He just didn't let the other Covenant people know. But the reason why the Covenant ended up splitting off with, of course, the weird mouth people. I'm going with the humans and then some of the grunts and all that, and kind of splitting it in half, was because the Covenant realized some most. I'm not gonna say most of the Covenant, at least like a decent chunk of the Covenant figured out exactly what their plan was. Like they figured it out eventually, and none of them wanted to like destroy the universe. They were there because they thought they were going to get like enlightened or some shit. They didn't realize that they were going to end up being like killed and whatnot. Like,
Mm-hmm.
like they thought, oh, this guy is going to give us a lot of power, and then with that power, I can do whatever I want. But no, their plan was to destroy the universe from the very beginning, and they knew exactly that the Halo rings could do that. They knew it could do that. Which, I mean, yeah, I mean, it doesn't exactly say it in the lore, so a lot of people don't really know that. I mean, of course, it's kind of told to you at the very end without really being told to you at the very end. But what it ends up becoming is that what it ends up becoming is not so much a like a battle for the rings, but more so a battle for the universe. Because
Yeah.
once the Covenant realized that they couldn't use the rings, they were like, well, what if we could control the universe? Then we could build a new ring. That's what they're. Once they realized they couldn't use the rings, the remnants of the Covenant tried to take over the universe in hopes that they could eventually, and this is like a big eventually like take over the world essentially. That's kind of what their plan was at the. I'm not gonna say that's exactly what their plan was, and I know their every
David, you
fucking
keep
move.
clicking you click modify. A.
Well, I yeah, okay, complete. Now scrap the damn shovel. Jesus. Anyways, but like you know what I mean. Like there we go. But like at the very end of the Covenant's reign, I'm not gonna say I know exactly what it was, but they do show that like they get the Earth's location from Cortana because well they only attacked Earth directly after Cortana interacted with their mainframe to save the captain, I think.
Was.
Whenever they landed on the first Halo ring,
Mm-hmm.
that's whenever they figured out where Earth was. But they still didn't know exactly where it was, even after Cortana had interacted with their system. They didn't know exactly where it was. But it ended up becoming I'm not gonna say like a big turning point in the fucking history of Halo. No, not really. I mean, yeah, it was a turning point, but not the biggest one. Um, they they ended up discovering where Earth was whenever Cortana interacted the second time with their system. They were able to piece it together, and then the Covenant started attacking Earth, which is what I think the fourth game opens up with. Is like a
Also, what the
Covenant
hell
invasion.
happened with the flood? Because I saw.
Oh, the whenever they destroyed the big arc ring thing, they took out the flood with it.
Oh, okay.
That's why they weren't able to use the rings to destroy the universe anymore, because the way it would destroy the universe is release the flood.
Well, no.
Yeah,
The
that
rings
that
were
the
made
rings.
to destroy the flood to begin with, not
Oh
use the
yeah,
flood.
that's right. Yeah, my bad. But it was kind of funny because once you realize what the rings actually were, they weren't a weapon of destruction. They were they were kind of like a refugee plant to like kind of like give people the antidote for the flood. They weren't like rings of mass destruction. They had that capability because in case like the flood became like fucking overpowered and destroyed everyone,
Well, no,
they
the
could
reason they
self-destruct
used
the
the
rings.
rings at the end was because the flood had taken over basically everything. Like we can't do like we.
The flood didn't act well. Eh. The flood didn't actually take over everything. It took
Did
over the
take
ring.
over everything.
It took over the ring. It never, and a few of the Covenant ships, but it
No, no,
never.
no, 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 no. The covenants didn't exist before the
No, the reason why the rings existed
the forerunners.
originally was because the flood was a disease and they were trying to cure it. It was a research facility that had the ability to euthanize. Well, I say euthanize, basically sanitize the universe of the flood. But
Yeah.
the reason why they didn't use
Well,
it
it
was
would sanitize the universe of everything.
and
It
the
would
reason
on
why
the but on the rings themselves, it would keep some species and send them out to different worlds. Once they had
yeah,
sanitized the
exactly.
worlds of living
But
beings,
they never used the ring because they had
they did.
managed to. No, they never did.
Yes, they did. That's why the Forerunners are extinct.
No, the
No one knows
Forerunners went
why.
no. They literally they say that the Forerunners went extinct, not because of the flood, but because of their own mistakes.
No, they went
Yeah,
extinct.
the
No,
little
they
no,
went
the little
extinct
like
because
robot
they
dude,
had to activate the flood. Or they had to activate the rings and
the
destroy
the, the little
all
robot
life.
dude said that his masters, the Forerunners, died because they weren't able to fix their mistakes. The
The
flood
flood.
the flood activated the ring.
No, they didn't.
Yeah,
Flood.
literally, whenever you
The
meet
flood
like the little
wanted to
flood
destroy
monster,
the rings.
whenever you met the flood monster said he destroyed the Forerunners in an attempt to destroy the rings.
Because
The flood accidentally activated the rings, which is why there's no flood in the universe, but on the ring. Because he used it to destroy the Forerunners. Because the Forerunners were trying to evacuate the rings at the end of the fucking Age of the Rings, I guess you could call it. They were trying to evacuate the rings. The robot even says that a great battle happened on the rings with the flood. And what ended up happening was the flood activated the ring by trying while in an attempt to destroy the ring, he activated it, completing the Forerunners mission, but while also eradicating them. But he only managed to activate the ring that had all the flood in its system, thus meaning
oh, you're okay.
all the
No,
others
so
didn't go off, which is why
the
humans
Forerunners
existed.
had an AI called Mendicant Bias. I remember Mendicant
Yeah,
Bias turned on
on the people.
the Forerunners
Yeah,
after they were after it was corrupted by the flood. I remember that.
yeah, and the flood and the creature that Master Chief and guy in the golden armor speak to is the AI contaminated by the flood. Because the flood's not an intelligent species. It wasn't intelligent, but the thing that you spoke to was the 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 little robot dude even tells you that like something happened to the AI and due to the Forerunners' mistakes they weren't able to survive. He doesn't necessarily tell you that the AI did it. but you can kind of depict what happened whenever the robot tells you that. Of course, there are like millions of different like theories and whatnot. There are a lot of theories, and none of which I'm going to say are right or wrong. I mean, what I'm saying is based on what like I understood from what I knew of the Halo games. Because I will admit, I never really played the Halo games myself, but I did watch like all the cutscenes, and I watched a lot of people play it. But by no means am I going to tell you I know everything there is to know about Halo, and there's nothing you can do or say to stop me. Uh, but I know nothing about Halo. In the grand scheme of things, I know fuck all, actually. But the reason why a lot of, I'm not going to say a lot of people, um, but yeah, there are definitely people that believe one thing or another. But, but the one thing that I do know about Halo is that the Covenant, other than of course the three prophets, didn't know what the ring did. None of them. Not a single one of them knew that the ring would kill everything. I mean, even like even one of the prophets didn't even know what the ring did. He even tells Master Chief that he didn't know what the ring did. I think it was the one that was.
Didn't you just tell me that they did know? Like at
No,
the beginning of
no.
all this, you told me that
Yeah,
yeah,
I did. I
they did
contradicted
know
myself.
exactly what they did
No,
and
I
how to
said
do it.
no. I said the prophet of truth knew, like the final guy knew exactly what he was doing. The other two, the second prophet that you kill knew roughly what the ring was and what it could do. Roughly speaking, he knew that it could get rid of disease and whatnot. And that's what his goal was, to stop diseases and death. With the ring, the and the first prophet that you kill, like, didn't even know like
He
all
was
he
absolutely clueless. What you're
all
saying?
all he knew about the rings was that they were of some holy significance to the others. He wasn't one. He had his theories. He even tells you. He even tells Master Chief whenever. I don't know if it's Master Chief who kills him, but
Yeah, it's
he
definitely Master Chief who kills him.
okay. I'm pretty sure he tells Master Chief. Now I'm not 100% on this, but he tells him that he didn't know what the rings did. All he knew was that the other two prophets wanted to claim them for the covenant and use them for something unknown. He didn't know what it was. I mean, he did say he had his theories, but he tells Master Chief to be careful around the others. Because whenever he's done, he's realizing how wrong the other two prophets were. He was like, "Oh God, what have I done?" He's probably like scared of what he like committed, and
Yeah.
it becomes very aware. It becomes very open to to the player character, whatever. That no one in the Covenant knows what the fuck they're doing except the two prophets that are left. Nobody. You even ask like the general, like the guy in the golden armor, whenever he's working with Master Chief. Master Chief asks him, "Does he know what the rings are for?" And he says,
You
"I
mean you mean the Arbiter, and he didn't have gold armor.
yeah, he did.
No, he
The
didn't.
Arbiter, yeah, he did.
He never had gold armor.
Look at the Arbiter's art. He had gold armor. I mean, it was golden colored. Um, his armor was. I'm not gonna say it was made out of gold, but it had golden color. Listen, I'm like 90% certain he had like golden colored armor. I'm not at the beginning whenever you first meet him, but like whenever he
No, I
becomes
think
the
he's
Arbiter.
always had silver or black armor. I don't think he ever had gold armor.
Hang on, I'm
I
gonna
think
look it up.
I think he had gold armor right before he got turned into the Arbiter, but
No,
after he got
I'm
turned
pretty.
into the Arbiter, he was wearing black armor.
I thought it was the other way around because they rip off his armor, don't they?
They rip off his armor and then present him with the new Arbiter armor, which was supposed to be. Well, okay. Originally, the Arbiter was a like a very big deal, right, to be the Arbiter. But then,
Yeah. If
but
only
then,
my fucking browser would actually load. Because right now everything is going slow.
Arbiter gold armor.
No, let's look at the Arbiter. Let's look at like his art. And I'm pretty sure he had golden armor. Whenever
It's Halo 5 Guardians. That's when he gets the gold armor. And I think
mm,
that's when he gets more reverence. But as the Arbiter at the beginning, he only had black and silver armor.
hang on.
And it's also whenever
Arbiter from Halo. Yeah.
Arbiter or Halo 2. Yeah, in Halo 2 he had the silverish armor.
Actually, in Halo 3, he had the gold armor.
No, he didn't. It was silver.
That's gold. That's gold.
No, it's silver. I
I
think it's like silver bronze, but like just barely bronze. But you're also seeing it in light, which there was a lot of like light and God rays that made it look really gold. But I remember it was specifically silver in 3. If you look at any of the cutscenes with the Arbiter in Halo 3, it's silver.
I'm just gonna straight up look at it.
And in Halo 4, he still has the silver. And then it's Halo 5 whenever he gets the...
Okay, so it says in Halo 2, Arbiter's armor is silver gray, while in Halo 3, it becomes gold due to his rank. So he had silver armor, then he became gold / bronze, which basically meant his rank as Arbiter went up, basically. And
No,
then for
the thing is,
and
the
then
reason
he
gave
sports
him
like
the rank,
he
or they gave
he
him the title of Arbiter was to shame him, but before it had great reverence, but then I think one of the Arbiters fucked up bad, and like, soiled the Arbiter name, and now anybody that's named Arbiter.
no, not at all. In Halo, the Arbiter is a highly respected term, as it means that he is the sword of the prophets. Basically, he does exactly what the prophets say and only what the prophets say. That's why it had such reverence. But the reason why the prophets gave the Arbiter that rank wasn't to shame him. It was because they knew exactly why he lost. They knew he lost because the humans had done something that they never did before. Throw a bomb right back into their own bomb bay. So, like, they knew that the Arbiter's loss of the ring was going to happen. They knew that there was nothing he could have done. There was nothing. The prophet even tells him that the reason why they are giving him the rank is so that he could redeem himself.
The one Arbiter challenged the words of the prophet and lost, which caused the title to be a badge of shame, but the rank was restored to its full glory shortly before the Great Schism. So yeah, they made the Arbiter to shame him, but then he returned its glory or its honor.
The reason why the prophet knew about the shame, and he did it so that the others would see it as, oh, this is your punishment. But the main reason why the prophets made him the Arbiter wasn't to shame him. It was to help him redeem the name. Because the prophets knew he was a very damn well good warrior. They knew he knew what he was doing. Granted, they were probably expecting him to fuck up. They're like, the other two agreed because they thought he was going to fail. But the main prophet made him the Arbiter, not to shame him, but so that he could bring back honor to the name Arbiter. Because more often in the series of Halo, you see the Arbiter getting his name teased and being called being called out as a shame, but never once do you see anyone disobey him. Never once.
I mean, it's still a high position of power. It still carries shame.
No, the Arbiter was never a high position of power.
Good night.
The power of Arbiter was
Say less.
was that he took orders
It's just
only
the
from
wiki.
the prophets, thus allowing
You
him
would
to.
you would agree that the Arbiter title, whenever the Arbiter first got it, was to shame him, no?
I don't know the lore, but I remember the beginning of the whole thing with the whole Arbiter.
They brought him in front of
No,
the
no, they
council,
no.
branded him, named him the Arbiter, and everyone was just like booing and yelling at him, right?
I don't
Yeah,
know about
because
the
they
whole.
didn't
I
want
don't
him
know
to
the
be the
answer to that
arbiter.
because I don't. It's just a video game, and I don't think it's worth fighting about. But I will tell you, the beginning of the game, you're right. Who cares about the whole name thing? He like broke the law or something, right?
No.
But he was a good guy, you know.
He was a good
He
guy.
was a good guy. He did what was right. But the law, the the
Wait,
political guys or whatever,
the
uh,
arbiter
were
never
like,
broke
nah,
any
we don't like you
laws.
because you
The
disobeyed us. They just made him look bad.
Yeah,
And
they
then
made him look bad.
the
and
reason why the
then
arbiter got
the
the
bad guys in the sense were the political guys.
you
He was the council, and also he can't hear you.
So
um
that's all I know about the beginning. That's the only thing I know. And him like redeeming himself, putting on the stuff and everything was just him scheming himself out because he's deceptive. So he's not that great either.
Yeah.
And then he also just killed them, which is not that great. Like there's nothing that great about the whole game. It's all pretty messed up.
Yeah, it's all messed up. We know that.
That's what's great about video games. They don't care about good and bad. They don't. They're just
does
like do
does
stuff in a random story.
your brother doesn't know why he actually why the
Yes,
arbiter
David,
never
I know.
the
I know.
brother the arbiter never
been a
broke
while
any rules.
It's
The
been a
arbiter
while
didn't
since
even
he
like
played.
shame anyone.
It's
There were,
been a while since he played. Also he's not cut up on lore, so don't.
the reason why the arbiter got the rank of arbiter was
Yeah.
was originally because of was because he lost the ring to the humans. That is why everyone was wanting him dead. Nobody wanted him to become the arbiter, except for the prophets. The only reason why he became the arbiter was because all the people thought of it as shameful, but the prophets still knew that it wasn't out of shame, and so did the arbiter. That's why he accepted it so quickly. The rank of arbiter, while yes to a lot of the civil population of the covenant, meant shame, to the prophets it still meant the title of great honor. And more often than not, the arbiters were viewed as very strong people. Um, and it just so happened that the unlucky guy got given the rank of arbiter, but they gave him the rank of arbiter for not to shame him. They gave it to him because they didn't expect him to live.
Yeah. They gave it to him because most of the arbiter missions are tantamount to suicide. So
Yeah.
they shamed him and sent him on a suicide
No,
mission.
no, they weren't giving it to shame him. No, they wanted him to feel powerful. They wanted him to feel like he was in a position of power, and have that get him killed. They weren't shaming him by any means. In fact,
I'm pretty
the
sure
the
they
prophet
knew what
that
doing,
the prophet
there's
that
no
gave
way.
let me
There's
speak.
no way
Let,
that
let,
you
let,
understand the culture.
let,
And
let,
then
let me
just be like,
speak.
well, I wasn't actually trying to do that.
Can you let me speak?
No, you've been speaking this entire time.
I mean, I was
get my
still
2
speaking.
cents in.
I was still speaking. You don't interrupt something. You don't interrupt somebody just to get your 2 cents in. But what I'm saying is, the reason why the last prophet that lives, who kind of went out of his way to make the arbiter the actual arbiter, he even told him that he's giving the arbiter this rank so that he could prove himself and redeem himself, not to shame him. Which the arbiter even told the prophet that he believes that they are doing this to shame him, and the prophet tells him that they weren't. They were doing it so that, for one, they expect him to die. most arbiters didn't live nearly a year after receiving the rank. So the prophet was like, well, you're going to do some stuff for me and the people will still get what they want. But this isn't to shame you. It's to allow you to get redemption to the name. Because the prophet knew that the arbiter was loyal. Because the arbiter never questioned the prophets. Never once. Until a little bit later. But before he became the arbiter, he always followed every word of the prophets. And he went out of his way to make sure everyone else did the same. Because, like, he was wanting to bring honor to that entire bucket of bullshit. But the main reason, well, I'm not going to say I know exactly why they did it or whatnot, but they kind of do say that they didn't give him the rank to shame him. Because, yeah, everyone wanted him dead. But the prophets wanted him to do stuff for them because he was still loyal. So they wanted to hit two birds with one stone, essentially. And so they gave him the rank arbiter so that he had no choice but to do what they said. And eventually he would die in the process. But due to the fact that he ended up like raising the name of the rank to like a new high degree of reputation, was that he took it as shame, but the arbiter's rank was never given to people to shame them. Never.
Yes, they were.
No, it wasn't. It was never meant for shame.
Yes, it was.
No.
Yes, it was.
No. The rank arbiter had always held a sense of respect.
Okay.
It always
held great honor until one of the arbiters questioned the prophets, and the prophets like, okay, like the rank, or like, the arbiter, the title of arbiter holds great shame, because they're not supposed to question the great journey. So
that's
anybody
given the prophets never
anybody
said
given the rank of, or the name of arbiter after that one
were never given it by shame.
Is given for shame. No, they're
no,
literally
it was never given for
shame, and also control, or
the rank arbiter gained
trouble.
The rank arbiter gained the hatred that it did from the civilians. The prophets of what now? Well then, your cat. I'm mine.
Can't really make it downstairs without throwing up.
Okay. He's probably eaten 3 birds today. Well, like, the prophets never spoke about, like, they themselves never gave the rank shame. They never did.
Yes, they did.
No, they never did.
They knew that they gave the name.
No. The prophets themselves never labeled the rank.
They knew that it held shame.
Let me speak.
They used
let
it
me
to
speak.
shame elites.
Let me speak.
Yes, no. They used it to shame criminal elites.
The rank arbiter
spoke out against the council.
No.
And sent them on great, like, really dangerous missions, so they could be like,
yeah, they did
die anyways.
But they never themselves gave the rank shame. They always gave it out as a chance to redeem, never as shame. Never. They never gave the rank arbiter to shame someone. They always gave it out to allow them a chance to redeem themselves or die. That is what the rank was. A lot of the civilian population and a lot of the soldiers of the Covenant believed it to be a rank of shame because of that one arbiter. But the prophets never announced it as a rank of shame. Never. They never did. They never even felt it as a rank of shame. They felt it as a chance. From that point on, from that one arbiter that disobeyed the prophets, they'd always said that the rank of Arbiter is a redemption rank. Basically saying this is your one and only chance to redeem yourself, and if you fail, you're going to be dead anyways. That's what
Yeah.
the rank
they
was.
literally okay. They literally
It wasn't given.
branded. No, they literally branded him with the mark of shame. Like I'll
The mark of shame was not because of the Arbiter. They didn't.
Yes.
They didn't mark him with that rank because of the Arbiter. They
Yes.
marked him that because he should feel shame for failing to protect the Great Ring.
Okay.
But they didn't give it to him because he was the Arbiter. They gave it to him because he should naturally feel shame for losing against the humans. But they gave him the rank of Arbiter after they branded him. Not during. After. They said you will wear this brand of shame, but you will also wear the redeeming rank of Arbiter. They didn't call it they called it a redeeming rank whenever they gave it to him. And
I'm watching the cutscene from Halo 2 right now.
I mean, if
I'm watching it right now.
you're not gonna get to learn much if you're just going
It's
to go.
literally part of lore.
No, yes, and within that lore, it says that the prophets never
Shush,
named it
shush,
a rank.
Please.
Okay, anyways, away from that argument.
No, I'm still not done with the argument. I'm just trying to figure this out because I do believe that they gave it to him for shame.
No, they gave him the rank
And
of.
you're
No,
David, you've literally nonstop for half an hour have told me the same thing. Okay, I get your position. I'm trying to fight my own position right now, and I'm doing research and finding the correct sources so that I can actually fight my position.
Okay.
So please.
I hate my game freezing whenever I open up my inventory. It's kind of annoying. Hmm. I'm actually gonna end my episode here though, because we've been recording for 43 minutes. Thank you for watching this episode. Like, subscribe, all that malarkey, and have a nice day.